Every show has talked about Dak Prescott's money, and we will eventually. But I think the more intriguing question, particularly given the brilliant minds at this desk, for you to listen to, is should Dak Prescott want to be a Cowboy for the duration of his career? James Jones played for 2 football teams, 9 years in the National Football League, I believe 8 years with the Packers, only 1 with the Raiders. Shady McCoy played for a few football teams, but most notably, he is the Eagles' all-time rushing leader from Pennsylvania, college in Pennsylvania, drafted in Pennsylvania by the Philadelphia Eagles. So, Shady, it makes the most sense to start with you. You would have been an Eagle for life if you could have chosen that path. Now, you got 2 Super Bowls out of your career, so you ain't mad at it. All-decade running back out of your career, obviously not mad at that. But given the fact that you would have wanted to be an Eagle for life, should Dak Prescott want to be a Cowboy for life?
I'm gonna say no, right? And I think we're a little different. I think I was always like a fan favorite. You were there, all right? I feel like with Dak, it's like a love-hate relationship. They love him, but then we hate him. So I would say this, though, and I'm happy that this question surfaced because I really want to talk about Dak. Everybody think I'm so biased, I don't like him. That's not the case. With this conversation, you're going to find out that I'm not biased. I'm just keeping it real. It's time for Dak to go, right? Because a lot of people on TV, a lot of fans, a lot of players, they feel the same way I feel as far as Dak gets blamed for everything, right? I look at Dak Prescott, there's no way you can have an MVP-type year, okay? And then you get to in the regular season. We get to the playoffs, and every time we lose, you are the main factor why we lose. And I think Dak's tired of that. Because if I was him and I was in his shoes, I was like, yo, look, man, I'm doing the best I can do. I took this team to the playoffs. I took every other year. I win the NFC East every other year. I do these things. And if I come up short in the playoffs, I may need more help. Now, as a player, you can't just come out and just say that. Yeah, but he might feel that. And another thing is, I'm watching so many quarterbacks get paid that's not that good. Now, Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Let's get that straight. And a guy like Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is making the same amount of money as Joe Burrow. If I told you the things that Joe Burrow did for his team and his franchise, you would say, you know what? He deserves that. If I show you the numbers that Trevor Lawrence has done and what he's did, you would say that's Gardner Minshew. He don't deserve nothing. And they paid this dude, Trevor Lawrence. So now Dak Prescott has an MVP-type season, right? And you don't even want to pay him his money? Yeah. And you want him to stay there and be a Cowboy for life? So, no. If I'm Dak Prescott's agent, I'm going to say, you know what, Jerry, you know what, McCarthy, all these guys, listen, we're going to have a great season this year, and then we're going to be on our way. We're going to get our money in the market because he's going to make more money in the market, and we'll find out if I was the real reason why we couldn't win a Super Bowl here. Simple as that.
Well said from a person who knows it firsthand. Joy, where do you stand on this? You've been watching and covering the Cowboys for a long time now. Should Dak want to be a Cowboy for life?
I'm torn because I do think that there's something to having one jersey, right? There's like a prestige to it. There's a nostalgia to it. There's an identity to it. But I also think that allure only makes sense when it's reciprocated, which is kind of what Shady's talking about. It's wild that we're even talking about Dak Prescott's money. But think about it.
That is true.
12 wins, 12 wins, 12 wins. He's the perfect face of the biggest brand in all of sports. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. Like, forget the winning, the regular season, all that is important. Being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback is different than being the quarterback for any other team.
Absolutely.
And the reason it is because the Cowboys are different than any other team. They're the biggest brand in all of sports. It might irritate you to hear that, but I don't make those rules. It just is what it is. They are. They're worth the most. They're the most recognizable. And that comes with a whole other set of politics and pressures, and he does an amazing job at that. And because he's done such a good job of that for so long, even though there's some back and forth about how good he is or whatever, he's always going to be a Cowboy. He's always going to be welcome back there. No matter, well, I don't know. If he goes to like the Eagles or the Giants, the Commanders, and wins the Super Bowl, it might change. But I think he's going to be a Cowboy for life regardless. There's something to it. My brother always wanted to finish his career with the Dolphins. He wanted to spend his whole career with the Dolphins. But that's not how the league works out sometimes. He got traded. Dolphins didn't pick him up. He went to the Jets. But in the end, he finished with the Dolphins, and nobody thinks of him as playing for Washington. Some people remember him with the Jets because it was a great year for the Jets, the last great year for the Jets. But it's this, it's the bulk of his career. He'll be remembered as a Cowboy no matter what. So I do tend to agree with Shady. There's something to going somewhere else and being like, you miss me?
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. James, I don't think Dak should want to be a Cowboy for life. Yeah. He's gotten everything he could get out of the Dallas Cowboys. Joey alluded to it. Because he played for the Cowboys for these 8 years, he can go on TV wherever he wants and be on any network, be calling games, be the A-game caller. He could go do any daily show he wants. He can reset the market monetarily as a TV broadcast host. You've already seen it with the likes of Michael Irvin or Deion Sanders or Troy Aikman or Jason Witten or any other former Dallas Cowboy who decides to step away. So he's already gotten all of the post-career success that he needs out of his present career with the Dallas Cowboys. But also, if I'm Dak Prescott, everybody blames me for the Cowboys' shortcomings. Sure, I'm responsible for the last 8 years to some degree, but what about the 22 years before I ever showed up? Everybody blames Dak Prescott. If I'm Dak Prescott, I would want to leave so that we can finally find out the truth of the matter. Am I holding the Cowboys back, or are the Cowboys holding me back? If Dak Prescott goes to another organization and the Cowboys have success, then fans, you've gotten your answer. If Dak goes to another organization and Dak has success, then fans and Dak Prescott, you've gotten your answer. I think it does behoove Dak Prescott to go elsewhere so we can finally realize what's the reality behind the Dallas Cowboys shortcomings. So, James, I think he should want out. Where do you stand?
No, I agree with you guys. I think he should want out. And the main reason he should want out is because you guys ain't really showed me that y'all really want me like that. First, you pay the running back before you pay me. Then now I'm coming off an all-pro year, and you guys are saying, let's wait this thing out. So that's letting me know that y'all are really unsure about me. Y'all are really unsure about the money that you want to pay me coming off one of my best years ever as a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. So for me, you know what? Y'all go ahead and see if the grass is greener on the other side. Draft a quarterback. See if Trey Lance is the answer. Go out and get another quarterback in free agency, whatever it may be. But let me go. And I want to go see how my career would end up somewhere else, finishing my career off the right way. Because if Dak Prescott played the way he has played in Dallas, in Cleveland, we might be talking about Hall of Fame. He might be getting his jersey retired or something over there in Cleveland. I'm just saying, the expectations is not this.
Like the Browns Hall of Fame? Like the Browns
What
Ring
you
of
said?
Honor?
Well, we can say that. The Browns Ring of Honor. But if he 12 wins in the playoffs, winning or
He in
losing.
the street in Cleveland.
You understand what I'm saying? But since it's in Dallas, he gets talked about bad, and all the blame goes to Dak Prescott. So, Jerry Jones, you paid Zeke before me. Now you over here sitting back with all your people that work in the organization talking, is he the guy? No. Let him walk. Let him go see what else is out there, and the Dallas Cowboys figure the quarterback spot out.
Joy, let me ask James a question quickly, because people don't often remember a take, but they'll remember a story. You played 7 years with the Packers. You were drafted to the Packers. Your 8th year, you left the Packers. You went to Oakland.
Yes.
In that year in Oakland, you had the most targets you had ever had. You had the most catches you ever had, but obviously the Raiders didn't have the same.
Games I've ever had.
No doubt about it. He lost the most games he's ever had. The reason I say that is the next year, the very next year, you go back to Green Bay. As you said it, so I do not feel bad saying it, you asked, I won't say you were begging, but you were pleading with the Packers to let you play one more season. Just give you a contract so you can get to 10. They did not do it. Knowing now, if you knew then what you knew now, would you have been a Packer for life?
No.
Why?
I would have left. Number one, I would have left because I was the number 3 over there, and I had the opportunity to go to the Oakland Raiders and be a number 1. Number 2, it was going back home. I'm from the Bay Area. So even if that decision came up again, I probably would have left because I was chasing that. Let me go ball. Let me go be a number 1, get a lot of targets, do all that, still thinking you might win. And I was at home in the Bay Area, so I wouldn't change it. But when I did go back to the Packers, I'm like, yes, it's totally different when you go to some of these different organizations that are ran right and some of the ones that are not ran right. So, but I would not change it because that's what I was looking for. Dak Prescott.
It doesn't haunt you that you weren't a Packer for life?
No, not at all.
I don't know how much that
Haunts me, though.
for the Eagles?
Yeah, and I love my time at Buffalo. I mean, it's something you just think about. Like,
Even with the Super Bowls?
yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Philadelphia Eagle. That's who I am. I mean, the thing is, like, I grew up in Harrisburg, right? That's an hour from the stadium. I went to Pittsburgh College, 3 hours from my hometown, and then I go back to Philly to play for the Eagles. So, and I wasn't no scrub. Like, I was doing everything I had to do. Everything you wanted me to be, I was more than that, right? So when they let me go, I was like, well, what do you want the player to do, right? I look at guys like Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, all these dudes that played for the same team that they got drafted to, right? And there's so many opportunities, and I'm still getting the same thing. But it's just like, when I went to Buffalo, I couldn't even really, for the first year, putting my uniform on was like awkward. Now, my teammates didn't know this, right? But in my mind, I'm a Buffalo Bill. It had to warm up to that. Small things you don't even think about, like if I'm late for work, I know the routes to take to get to work on time. Or my prep meals before the game, the chef knows all these small things. And then the networking part is like, all our teammates that were there, the top dudes, we should have stayed there because we had a really good team that we bond together, right? And that's something, even now with Mr. Lurie, the owner, we still tight. And every once in a while, I bring it up because it's something that's always going to haunt me for the rest of my life is that how in the world, I'm the all-time leading rusher, and I did it in 6 years, and the Philadelphia Eagles been around for years. If I was there for another 4 years, you know what I did to that? Yeah. And then I think about the legacy part. Got a great legacy, right? But all decade and all that type of stuff. You know the type of numbers I'd have put up if I was an Eagle? You talk about notoriety. You talk about the attention, right? Philadelphia compared to Buffalo. I had some good years in Buffalo. It got overshadowed because of the marketing, right? You in Buffalo compared to Philadelphia. So all them little things like that, it truly matters. When you talk about the Hall of Fame, you talk about even like my autograph sign. Small things you don't even think about. Now I'm not playing no more. I'm making good money on TV and doing real estate and all that. But when I go do my autographs, right, I'm still making good money on that. But if I'd have stayed there, you might have added another $35, $40 on that.
But don't you
small things like that?
Like when people think of you still, they still think of you as a Philadelphia Eagle. So the equity that you built in that city and being the Eagles' all-time leading rusher and having the success in that time that you did, that's not still your identity as a player?
It is, but imagine another 4 years like that, 5 years like that.
But not only that, too, you kind of feel that way, too, because you were celebrated in Philadelphia when you played there. It wasn't you lost. No, but I'm saying it wasn't you lost games.
That they let you go.
But not only that, it wasn't you lost games and everybody like, it's shady.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So
no.
that's what I'm saying. But that's what Dak is dealing with. So this is, like, you love Philadelphia because they treated Shady right. Shady balled out there, all-pro running back. They treated you right from top to bottom. They know you like noodles, spaghetti, whatever you want, right, when you walk in. They treated you right. Never blamed you for none of that stuff.
Going to his 9th year. So he played 8 years there. You know the relationships he done built with people? He got kids, right? You know,
he about to.
By that one.
Okay, small things like I don't know his wife or whatever, but you don't know she might be from there. He's built so many different relationships outside of football that you don't even think about.
No, that's his life is there for sure, and I think ideally he probably would want to stay. Like he might be watching this and thinking that we sound crazy that he should leave, but I think there's different perspectives. Like you would never had the experiences maybe of playing in the Super Bowl had you not left. You wouldn't have understood the perspectives of playing with someone like a Josh Allen had you not left. Like, what happened, and it gave you value in different ways. So obviously, you feel like you would have wanted to be an Eagle for life, and that would have been an amazing experience. But the experiences you have still gave you all these other things. Super Bowls, being able to play with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and Josh Allen. Like, those are things you would have never said if you stayed with the Eagles. You wouldn't have been able to play in your hometown. Jason wouldn't have played in an AFC Championship game if he'd have stayed with the Dolphins. So there's both sides of it. I think for Dak, the way that people will remember his career, they will always think of him as a Cowboy unless he goes somewhere else and has high-level success that he never had with the Cowboys.
My last thing will be this. Nobody will never love you. I don't care who it is. Like, Tom Brady did a lot of great things for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Trust me. They didn't see nobody like him. Oh, my God, he's here? It will never be the same way like it is in Boston. You get what I'm saying? So like, because they see you grow. I will say this, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I would trade all that stuff I done did to give it back to just be with the Eagles and get that one championship as compared to all the other ones that I got. Just because of like, and then if my career would have went how I know it would have went, like I did other places with the Eagles, I probably wouldn't have did TV. I probably would be somewhere in the office studying Howie to be the next GM. Like small things like they didn't even think about. You know what I mean? Like it's because like it's home to you. The NFL, there's no homes in the NFL. I don't care who you are. But some players are that good and that special and blessed from God that becomes home. Like a Larry Fitzgerald, Big Ben. I don't care what people think about. It's home for him. You get what I'm saying? So that's all I'm trying to say.
Good point, because even Fitz, I think he has part ownership of some professional teams over there. When I think about Eagles players that accomplish less than you, friend of yours, I'm sure even like a Brent Selleck, tight end, always in Philly. Dude got restaurants, dude got different accesses, things. And he was a great tight end for Philly. He's not like the Eagles' all-time leading tight end.
BG, too.
No doubt about it.
Love BG when he's done. Love him.
Correct. Brandon Graham, that is. And so, but phenomenal conversation because these are all really good points. Kelsey's a phenomenal player. If Kelsey goes to the Browns and has the same type of success,
I don't know if he's looked at the same. Right now, the brother helps out, and Taylor Wilson and all that good stuff helps out.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the Eagles, though, that whole, because it's a big market.
Yes.
And he's there and all that. Come on, James Jones, Joey Taylor. Acho, you know what it is.
It's rare you stay with the same team, though.
It is rare.
Favre's got on. Peyton Manning's got on.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.